All right, guys. Welcome back, everybody, to Famous DJ Academy. This is the academy version, school version of Famous DJ Agency. Today, we have a very special guest who's one of Famous DJ Agency's most requested DJs. He's worked with us for I think almost like 2 years now. Famous DJ Agency trusts Big Roo with all of our events, any big or small. He always goes out. He always does a great job. He always kills it. We always get awesome feedback. I've been good friends with him since. Well, I brought you in to do these gigs and stuff, so I've been good friends with him for a while as well. Um, I know he has a awesome story, and the main reason why we brought him in here was to talk about MC because awesome MC, awesome voice, man. He can get any crowd in the mood to party. He can make anything sound exciting, man. You can be giving away like just sticks of gum and he'll make it sound dope. You know what I mean? Like so awesome MC. But so yeah, everybody welcome Big Roo. All right.
You guys, thank you.
Yeah, and let's start off a little bit, man. Let's talk about kind of your background a little bit. I know you kind of come from doing like ministry stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's really dope. I think that's really a great thing because, and I think it also attributes to how well you MC and stuff. So I like we could talk about that, but let's talk about how you got into DJing, and your little journey into the DJ industry and stuff like that, man.
Absolutely, man. My family has always been into music, and as speaking about music, I actually started off as a musician. So in elementary school, I played the recorder. And that was something I used to like to freestyle off the recorder. Teacher used to get upset, like, "Hey, stick to Jingle Bells," and I do my remix of Jingle Bells, and I bet that was kind of annoying to the teacher, but I always wanted to be creative. So from elementary school, played the recorder. Then I went on to play the saxophone in junior high, and from there, I tapped into more creativity. One of my greatest inspirations, who was a saxophone player as well, was John Coltrane,
Ooh.
who was a very famous legend on the saxophone, a legendary jazz artist. And the thing about John Coltrane that really attracted me to John Coltrane was that to be a great jazz musician, you have to learn your scales, right? And you just have to, and it's really hard, but you have to learn all of your scales, and you have to think on your toes. You got to be quick, with the music. As the music moves, you have to be able to move with the music, and to be on top of that, right? So John Coltrane was a master of his scales. But what was so unique about John Coltrane was that he would always break those boundaries. He would always break the rules, and he would play stuff that was outside of the scale, and it sounded absolutely dope. And that's what made him so unique, was that he wouldn't just play by the rules. He'd go off, do things that were abnormal, and that gave him a sound, and that gave me inspiration, with music, to always, not always, don't be so uptight. Sometimes mistakes are a good thing, and you learn off of your mistakes, and you're like, shoot, that was actually pretty dope. I'm going to do that in my next transition. I'm going to try that, the next time I mix this song or whatever it may be. So obviously I'm bringing that into DJing. So from there, in high school, I had I'm sorry, man, it might be a little extensive.
No, no, man, no, go
But
ahead.
so in
Go
high
ahead.
school, right, I was a jazz musician, but I also played sports. And then I had, I guess, like an epiphany, right? So I wanted to start to go to church, and I was attracted to ministry, and I was attracted to how the musicians would play, and you could feel you could really feel, especially during what they call altar call, when they call people up to the front to pray for people, and the ability, or the influence that the music had, to me, was very attractive. That they would play a certain really nice chords that would make you want to cry, and so there, like, I really tapped into like the spiritual aspect of music. Man, music is not just like an emotional thing. Music is a very spiritual thing, and so I started to tap into like like my spiritual side and whatnot. And then not only was it music, but I was also inspired by people that were able to effectively communicate behind those chords. It was what the person behind the microphone was saying, that would really drive that thing home, that
Hmm.
would really prick the heart, that would really captivate people. So I wasn't only, attracted and inspired by the chords, by the music, but I was also inspired and attracted by the ability that the individual had to communicate what they wanted to communicate. And so I actually went to Bible college. So I went to Bible college to become a pastor. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a musician, which I was. I played a little bit of keys, I played some drums, and then I got into youth ministry and went to Bible college. I didn't complete my courses there. I got involved in a relationship with a person who I call my wife now. So this was out in Columbus, Ohio, and um, where I went to school, right? So to be in Columbus, Ohio, and for my girlfriend to be out here in California was a hard thing, and it takes a very strong individual on both sides to be able to withstand that, to be able to go to school and to achieve their goals and just still have a girlfriend on the side. So with that point being said, what I'm telling you now is don't get a girlfriend. So if you have these goals, right? If you want to be this, you have these goals, you want to be successful, you want to be an artist, you want to play festivals, whatever it may be, it takes a real strong person, right, to stay focused. And what you don't want is you don't want to be distracted. And sometimes a relationship could be that distraction. It might be a good thing, it might be a good distraction, but that's for you. That's that's your destiny, that's your decision. Those are decisions that you have to make, on your own. And my decision was that I couldn't live without her, and so I put that on pause, connected with my wife. We ended up moving to Arizona. I got involved in youth ministry, and being involved in youth ministry, one of the things that the youth liked was hip hop. So being a musician, I had a motif, and on the motif, I had the ability to make beats. So I started to make beats on my motif, my Yamaha motif, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try rapping.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, hey, the kids like the beats, and so let me try something. So I did, and I was absolutely horrible. I wasn't a very good rapper, but my thing was that I wasn't in it to be somebody like that. I wasn't in it to be a Drake or anything. I was in it just to try to be an influence and to communicate to the youth. And so I was a better ad libber, where just talking over the beat, and then in between the songs, talking in between the songs. So I realized, okay, rapping's not my gift, but music is, and being able to speak to people was as well. So unlike other people, such as persons
Yeah.
who are sitting next to me, and DJ Pac-Man, I did not start with turntables as a DJ. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to DJ at all. That wasn't my thing. I just had my laptop and I made beats, and I made them off of Logic. And my family and friends knew me as a music guy, so they'd be like, "Hey man, we got this thing going on. You think you could DJ for us?" Like, yeah, I could do it. So I started DJing off of iTunes. From there, I got some DJ software, and I was DJing just off the laptop. And I had discovered, like, this is actually fun. I really like doing this because I'm able to put the creativity that I had with being a musician into DJing. So from there, I went from the laptop to controller to turntables, mixer, back to controller. Now I'm going back to turntable and mixer. Well, you know how it is. It
Mhm.
kind of go back and forth, but um, yeah,
That's
that's my
awesome,
story.
man. That's really cool. Like something that we've talked about here a lot is that being a DJ, we're music lovers. You're
Yes,
like somebody that's just kind of obsessed with music, and you want to dive into multiple genres. You want to like see how different genres sound with each other and stuff like that. And
yes,
then the fact that you're a beat maker as well, and then you even dabble with rapping, and you come from how to read music, or from playing sax and all that kind of stuff. That just shows how invested in your heart is into music. So it's easy to kind of transition from each one of these things. You can't hold
right,
us back. Like I produce music too. Kato's interested in that. Damien's a producer. You're getting dabbling into DJing and stuff like that. So definitely, man, it's really cool to see how your journey has come, but you haven't let go of any of those art forms that
right.
you've kind of come through along the way. You know what I mean? And so since you started off making beats first, like how did that kind of influence your DJ style, or the way you mix records or anything like that? Did it affect it at all?
Well, yes, absolutely. I guess one of the biggest things, right, coming from a background of music is understanding like the basics of music theory.
Mhm.
So like BPMs,
Mhm.
understanding when to drop the beat, on the one. Um, so just pretty much being able to count, your beats and to understand BPMs and to also understand, you know what though, I really don't do too much like what's that called? Mixing in key.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
sometimes you can still make it happen,
Right.
right? And sometimes it's just you mix off of vibes, and
Mhm.
it doesn't necessarily always have to be the exact same key.
Exactly.
Sometimes it does clash. You're like, whoa, wait a minute,
Mhm.
let me cut some things out real quick to make it work.
And some like just fit like a glove with each
Yeah,
other. You know what I mean? Some
no,
just like
absolutely,
it's like they were meant to be mixed together. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
And sometimes I think that I mean, they kind of make it like that on purpose
Right.
to sound like that. And producers out there, thank you, because it makes it easier for DJs. Are like, you hear some like, dude, that song is
Mhm.
dope, and it'll match with these three for sure right here. That's an easy blend right there,
Mhm.
with vibe and just like you said, they sound like they were made for each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the music background definitely has helped me as a DJ just to understand music theory, and it has helped me with mixing. But like I said, I mean up front, I wish I had an academy to go to when I first started DJing to understand, because one of my biggest problems when I first started DJing was I should have paid attention more to YouTube. It's just I was so excited
Mhm.
about DJing
Mhm.
that I really wasn't paying attention to little things such as knowing how to correct your beat to match up. Sometimes you'll drop it even like this on your cue. You'll drop it and it's off. I didn't know how to correct
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'll let it go. All the way through. It'll be like
Yeah, so yeah, like kind of just train wreck it and just slam it in if anything. No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know what you mean, but see, that's the thing. It's like it's all a little process, and I think the biggest way to learn or the best way to learn is just kind of getting out there and doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that you kind of a perfect example of that. That you got out there and you dove in and you
Yes.
just. But the good thing is that you were able to hear that, because sometimes some guys can't hear. They don't know that they're like messing up like
Right.
that. You know what I mean? So having that music knowledge for sure helps. And you're still producing, right?
Yeah, I still produce
You
for the most part. I'll make like my own little intros or my own little mashups, or sometimes even like from record pools, I'll pull a song, and if there's not a clean version,
Mhm,
I'll
mhm.
make the clean version. Or if there's certain parts of the song, like, dude, I think this part is dope. I want to bring it up front. So I'll do my own chopping up, kind of make my own version of a remix of a different version, whatever you call
Yeah,
it.
no, it
But
definitely
yeah,
helps, man. Because you can make like your own edits too. Like, say there's a part of a song that you don't like, or you could tell that that the dance will loses energy.
yeah,
You can go make like a little edit.
exactly.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah, like you exactly what you just said, taking mental notes about
mhm,
those things is very important as a DJ, to see what works and see what doesn't. And the song may be a banger, but how you presented the banger didn't hit as hard as you thought it should. And just like what DJ Don Dirty just said, now you go back to your lab and you could create something to make it hit as hard as you wanted it to hit. And that's really key. Yeah, that's why being a DJ nowadays is very important. It's not just being a killer on the decks or on the turntables.
mhm.
It's also being having the ability to go into the lab studio and create your own stuff, and like what we're talking about today, being behind a microphone. So having all of those things together
Definitely, man.
helps a lot.
Yeah, man. And so let's talk about the microphone, man. So you were going to school to be a pastor. I mean, what was it? Have you just always been very good at like
No,
public speaking or anything? Like,
no.
so how did you get so comfortable and just to be able to master it so well, and then like and to just kill it every time? You know, what I mean? Like, how did you get there? How did you get? I think that's the main part. I think a lot of people when they get into emceeing or like when they become DJs and they kind of realize like, hey man, I gotta be able to work the mic pretty well, to be able to really push forward. It's mainly like the nerves and kind of and the way you project your voice onto the mic, because you sound different. You know what I mean? So how did you get through that initial barrier of just picking up the mic and speaking into it?
Right. I mean, it's I. You know what? I'm kind of grateful that I couldn't see how horrible I was.
What do you mean? Like,
Okay, so here's the deal. It's like, okay, so you get musicians or you get DJs that are just not afraid to just step up and
yeah.
be like, okay, let me DJ, and then they're amongst like experienced DJs. For me, when it comes to that aspect, I would be real like timid, right? Like, oh shoot, there's Don Dirty right here. Like he's gonna critique my transition. He's gonna be like, oh, that was lame. You should have did this. You should have did this, and that, right? So for me, when it came to speaking on a microphone, I was absolutely horrible, but I had that block. Like I didn't realize like I was horrible,
Okay.
but I just grabbed the microphone and I just did my thing. But this, see, here's the thing though, is that it started when I was doing stuff in church,
Right.
and um, so I guess here's the thing is that what helped me there was the fact that I felt like there was no judgment. It's like,
Okay.
okay, here's this young kid in high school and he wants to get involved in ministry, and if anything, they would help me.
Hmm.
So I guess that helped. So here's the deal: is that Famous DJ Academy? This is your help. Like that's what's great about it is that there's no judgment, bro. Like guys,
Hmm.
like hey, make your mistakes, make them now. Let's get them worked out now. And so I kind of had that, but it was in a different place.
Right.
It was in a different place, but you have to find yourself. You definitely have to find your own way, and it doesn't have to be like anybody else, or it can be like someone else. It can be like several people. You like the way he just presented something. You like the way he just said something, right? DJ Don Dirty got on the microphone and he said a phrase, and he killed it with that. Like, dude, that was dope. Take it, steal it,
Hmm.
run with it,
Hmm.
but make it DJ Kato's. Make it your own. He said that and it worked. I'm gonna say the same thing, but you make it your own. DJ Pac-Man gets up there. He says something. Oh, I like the way he said that. I'm gonna take a bit of that. Oh, I like the way DJ Big Roo, DJ Ruben said that. I'm gonna take that. So you take all of these different things, right? Elements from different people. You see it all over YouTube, on Instagram, with different mixers doing different things. We still hear it nowadays, where people do something. Dude, that was a dope flip. I like the way you did
Hmm.
that. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna use that, but I'm gonna put my own taste to it. My own flavor on it. So it's the same thing with being an MC. Is you hear, you got to keep your ears open, listen to people, listen to how they communicate, and you take those bits and pieces and you create yourself.
Yeah, man. See, I don't see it so. I mean, if you completely steal it and do it exactly the same way, then yeah, I guess that's stealing and copying. But to me, it's always inspiration. You know what I mean? And like when you mentioned, like keeping your ears open. There's some weekends or just during the week or something where I try to take the time out to go and listen to other DJs because you get if when you're DJing every weekend, you have your business and stuff, and so everything's kind of like surrounded around you. You just start listening to yourself so much, and sometimes you kind of forget to like expand and to like grow and try new things. So sometimes when I have a weekend off, it really helps to just go and listen to somebody else mix. I'll even just I'll hit up like my homies. I'm like, hey, where are you mixing tonight? I'll be here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna stop by there from 9 to 10:30. Hang out, cool. Hey, okay, hey, where are you mixing at? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be here in Fullerton or something like that. Then I go catch them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's always good to not like be afraid to think like, oh, I don't want to steal their stuff, but you have to like take it and use it as inspiration,
No,
100%.
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's very important. To go out. I need to go out more. Hint my wife out there. I need to go out more for the right
Yeah.
reasons.
Right.
Not-
See, this is for work. It's
Yeah,
for work
exactly.
purposes. This is
For
for
being
research.
creative, man. You need that. You absolutely need that.
Yeah,
And
man. And so I mean, I've gone out to check you out at Bar Louie,
yes,
you know, and so something that we've talked about here is like being the DJ for like an entire night. You know what I
yes,
mean? Um, being the opener, being like the support, being the headliner,
yeah.
and then like closing. Um, so like what's your take on that? What's your approach? How do you go about working your crowd? And I know you have the restaurant setting too, but I know that place also likes to get
Yeah,
a
they
little
get to
rowdy and have
yeah.
fun. So how do you go about that?
Well, every night is different. Um, and the times where it's time to turn up is
Hmm.
different. It's not the same. Mainly, just like what you said, it is a restaurant, a bar, and sometimes you have little kids in there all the way to 10 o'clock still too,
Hmm.
with their parents, and so I mean we get the green light to go ahead and go in and play full versions. The adults want to hear the full versions, right?
Right.
The clean versions, and it's just more using your judgment and whatnot. Yes, exactly. Being when you have three DJs and a headliner or two and a headliner, it's different. It really is different than from having the whole night to yourself. So you could set yourself up,
Mhm.
and always, start off slow. That's typically what I do. I'll just start off slow, set some vibes, some really good vibes, and then just kind of watch the crowd. Um, with being an MC, it's really key to observe and to be open minded. It's the same way as DJing. Not every night is going to be the same. Not every wedding is going to be the same. There are certain elements that will always be the same, but not every night is going to be the same. It's going to be different. So, you always have to observe and play off of that. Be open minded. And sometimes if you're working and it seems like, man, it's getting later, I should start turning it up, and it's not working, just be creative. Like I said, observe and let people know. I mean, in a bar situation, at the clubs is different, but at a bar situation where you have the whole night, you can get on the microphone, work the microphone, and make it fun for people. Tell them to come up. You take requests. Here's my tip jar. Hook me up, and I'll hook you up. And just be creative with that. Just kind of make the night your night. It doesn't have to be the same every night. Just make it yours. This is my bar, so I'm gonna do it the way that I want to do it. If I want to play a song all the way to 3 minutes, I'm gonna play with 3 minutes. If I want to play a minute and a half, then or if I want to do quick mixing, then I'm gonna do it. And just try different things every night. Um, as far as the club, like I said, that it's different, man. It is
Mhm.
different, especially when you're an opener. Knowing, and in that night, you're gonna hear a song, a couple times, a
Mhm. Yeah.
couple times that
Yeah.
night.
I think with like clubs or just when you have like like set times and stuff, I think it's just important to know your role.
Yes, yes,
You know what I mean? Because you can't be playing at 1 a.m. kind of like if you're playing at 9
yeah.
p.m. Or something like that.
And that's an art, man. It
Yeah.
is an art. It's different, and in those cases, it is important to go out and to hear how other DJs DJ when they're openers, to hear how they open up if they're somewhere in the middle, and to hear how a closer closes. It really is an art, and I'm sure it's a lot easier when everyone's drunk at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
But
no,
it's still an
definitely.
art to be able to
Yeah.
constantly get those bangers in
Hmm.
there, and everyone, oh,
Yeah, no, it's an art to like
it's an
to
art.
like
Yeah.
be able to hit them with throwbacks.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And
Definitely.
with the right ones, that'll
Yes.
get them to react
Yes.
and sing the lyrics and stuff
It
like
makes
that.
it fun, and
Some of
it's
my
an art.
favorite sets are closing sets because you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
do all that stuff.
Yes.
Like even throwing the R&B stuff. They're all drunk and stuff, so they get it off.
But the thing is that you get that energy in the room
Yeah,
because they're drunk, but they're gonna react to it, and it
right.
just creates the energy in the room.
Yeah, man. When each DJ does their job properly, it's an awesome night because just like supporting when you support and you set up the headliner and the headliner like just feels that you set up the energy and they just got to go in there and rip it, and they go in there and they do their job and they rip it, and then the closer comes in and does his thing. Then it's that's what going out's about. You know what I mean? And that's what DJing is about, and all that cohesive energy, the way you build it up and stuff like that, man. That's awesome, bro. You mentioned weddings a little bit, that like not every wedding is different. And that's very true, because I feel that a lot of times when I do some parties, it's sometimes it's hard to like really focus in on it when it's work. You know what I mean? But the more present you are mentally, that's when I find myself to like deliver the best set. You know what I mean? Like paying attention to the way the family's reacting to the music that I'm playing during dinner, the way, even just kind of the way they dress and stuff. You can pick up their style, like see what kind of music they're into and stuff, and so that just gives you more ammo to rip it once it comes to the
Yes.
dance floor and stuff like that. So I know you're like a veteran with weddings, man. Talk about how you keep doing your thing at weddings, man. I know I'm seeing this a lot for you too. So
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. That is very important to be said, as especially for weddings, is to be able to to get behind a microphone and to effectively communicate. To let people know. I've talked with multiple brides and grooms, um, soon to be, that have told me, yeah, you know what, we've been to several weddings in the past, and what was so frustrating was that we had no idea what was going on. The DJ would make some announcements, but we were in our conversation, we could barely hear him, and he only made the announcement once, and we didn't know what the heck was going on the whole night. So, for me, I feel that it's important to be present on the microphone. Like I said before, to be observant, see how the people are interacting, and even while you're speaking. Same thing like DJing. You don't want to DJ like this, right? Because if you DJ like that, you know, you're not seeing, you're not interacting with the crowd. You're just kind of picking song to song. You're DJing for yourself. You're not DJing for the people because you're not seeing how they're reacting. And it's the same thing goes for MCing. You don't want to MC like this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the bathrooms are right around the corner. Thank you. You know, you don't want to MC like that. And you have to have courage to be an MC because it's not easy standing in front of people with a microphone and making those announcements. It's not easy. And you start becoming your biggest critic. You're saying my English isn't right, or my grammar isn't right, or I look funny when I speak. You know, but you have to be courageous, man. You have to step up. And you know what, man? Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous, but I need to make this announcement. I need to let the people know that the restrooms are right around the corner because that's what the bride and groom want me to do. And then just grab the microphone, stand up straight, and pronounce it. You know, step up and say what you got to say. Be observant. See how the people are responding. If they're not, they didn't hear you. You know, then make your presence known. You don't have to get on the microphone and scream, right? But you could even walk around with your microphone and grab people's attention. You know, make sure that they could see you and then communicate. You know, let them know, you know, ladies and gentlemen, the bathroom's right around the corner, whatever it may be. But you know, command that attention when you're up there making those announcements. You know, don't be timid because if you're timid, that's blood in the water, and people are they're not going to hear you, or if they do, they're going to be like this guy's horrible. I can't hear anything he said, and whatever he just said, I don't know.
Yeah, some people are brutal.
Like, yeah, they are brutal. Man. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And but there's a fine line. You don't want to overdo it. You know, you don't want to overdo it. Constantly be behind the microphone, and you know that element of DJing. I know a few DJs that they have to behind every song. It's like they have to, especially cumbias. They have to say where the cumbias came from, or which part of Mexico, or what. Every single song. Yeah. It's cool to do that. I'm not saying hey, if it's working for you, it's vibing. The people love it. Yeah. By all means, whatever works. But it's important not to overdo it.
Yeah, there's definitely a time and place for everything, man. And I think like one of the biggest things too is just to know and be comfortable with getting all that kind of attention from somebody. Yes. And knowing that you're gonna go in there and you're gonna stand in the middle of the dance floor and like there's gonna be 1,000 eyes on you. Yes. You know what I mean? So that's normal. And just I like to practice, to be honest. I'll write some stuff down if there's like a little long type of speech that I know I'm gonna have to do, like either pronouncing somebody's name or something like that. I'll write it down. I'll go outside, kind of rehearse a little bit, just so that I don't really get like my tongue tied or anything like that, and then just come back in and execute.
That's right.
So yeah, I think definitely practicing.
I agree with you. One of the things that you really need to do, and I'll tell you, and it's the same thing with your mixes, is record yourself. Right? Record yourself. See how you're performing. And then you'll realize, shoot, man, my levels are off. I'm not getting the low end in enough, or I'm putting too much in, or I'm clashing. That there's something wrong with my mixing or whatever. Because when you're live, you really don't notice it. And even just those small little things, people out there probably don't notice it. They really don't, unless you're another DJ that's critiquing everything. But like the average person out there, they're loving it. Really, hey man, you're mixing music. It's great. Thank you. But the way that you get better is you got to record yourself, right? You record your mixes. And so you critique yourself, and then you realize the things that work and the things that don't work, and you improve upon the things that do work. And it's the same thing with MCing, with, record yourself, in your room, in your car, wherever you're at by yourself, if you don't want people to hear you. All right. I know I don't when I practice too, but I will record myself. And then I'll realize the things that, I'm doing that too much. And it sounds annoying, so let me work on that. And that's actually a true story for me. I had realized that I was doing something too much during weddings, during grand entrances, that I realized, like, dude, that's really annoying. I should stop doing.
That's interesting. I never thought about like recording myself emceeing. I'm gonna try that, man. Because I think it's like a different kind of listening, especially, if we're talking about like DJ mixes and stuff, when you're like live, obviously you have a subwoofer, so that thing's punching stuff. So stuff's going to sound good kind of no matter what, or you can't tell. But once you record and you listen to it in the car and you're like it's more active, there's a lot less outside noise and stuff. Then you can hear those mistakes. And what was it that you were doing that with the MC.
Okay, so what I was doing is that when I was calling in the couples for the wedding party, when I would call them in because they were coming in and dancing, I thought for some reason I'll just get on the microphone and keep saying, "Hey, hey, hey," and I did it. They had like 9 couples, man, right? So the whole time, "Hey, hey."
Did they have one song each couple and stuff?
And it was all the same song.
All the same song. At least that you got lucky, man. So I've had some weddings where each person, the wedding party, wants to have their own song. Yeah, and I'm announcing them, and I was by myself.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
And I'm like, drop in, hey, give it up, and then okay, load up the next one.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
You know what I actually do when I've never had to do that. That's a lot of songs. That's a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
But if every individual couple in the wedding party, if they have their own song, I actually create this huge. I'll get into Logic and then I'll drag and drop them, and I'll create this huge thing.
Like
so that way, yeah, it's just cue points.
Yeah.
And I even have some in betweens where when they're done, I'll hit it, boom, all right, and then I'll move on to the next one to kind of make the transition a little bit easier rather than lowering the music or complete silence.
Right.
So I'll try to fill those voids with some cue points, and so that's a good thing with being able or to know how to work a DAW is you could create something like that. And I found that a lot easier because a lot of times weddings I am there by myself, and I feel like I would be a better performer, announcer if I didn't have to be behind the boards, but that doesn't happen all the time, right? Usually, we're out there by ourselves and you have to be everything. Yeah. And so that does help is to actually create one big, it might be like 30 minutes. I'll create a long enough, space there for there to, just in case if the song goes that long, I don't know, but I space them out pretty
no, yeah, true, man. And see, some songs, like I think it's really good. We always talk about like being familiar with your music because there's certain parts in songs where that this little either dip is coming, and that's where you can like get on the mic and give it some energy or something like that. And then if the song then the drop hits and stuff, then it's like it's kind of like a performance. Yeah. You know what I mean? Definitely. Yeah. I see, man. What else? MCing. We talked about nerves. So what like do you so you say you rehearse? Is there anything else you do like to not get nervous on the mic, or what about like projecting your voice or anything like that? Because I know definitely when I'm like on the mic I sound different. How did you get used to your voice and stuff like that?
It's more just I guess just practice. Just keep doing it till you find something that works for you.
Okay.
And people will tell you, they will actually tell you like, hey man, you sound pretty, that's dope. Like the crowd will tell you, like they really do. They'll come up to you, oh man, dude, that sounded great. You're doing a good job. And I said, if you're nervous, it's okay. Everyone gets nervous. Like I said before, you need that courage. You need to stand up, and everything you say, just say it with confidence. Even if you don't know what the heck you're saying, if you don't even make sense, right? Nervous as hell, you're sweating, your knees are shaking, you're buckling, you're like, oh shoot, you're shaking. Say it with confidence. I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
No,
just say it with confidence.
I've sometimes like train wrecked something, and like I sound like I'm saying gibberish, but I just act like you said what you were supposed to say.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That way, if they look at you, if anything in their head, it's like, oh, I didn't understand him.
Yeah. Yep.
Not like, oh, I just got tongue tied or something like that. It's all about confidence, man. Definitely, I feel that. Yeah. So I mean, confidence I think comes with if anything, like a lot of experience and practice.
You guys have microphones at home, speakers at home. Find your voice, man. Find what works for you, and just experiment. Here's the thing: is that don't worry about being fake, not the real you. Understand that whenever you spin WAP, all right, is that what you are? No, right? You're not that. You spin a Cardi B song. Are you that Cardi B song? No, I'm not that. I'm an entertainer and I'm performing. So when I spin, I'm not that song. I'm not a YG gangster song. I love the music, but that's not me. When you're an MC, you're an entertainer, you're a performer. So you could be whoever you want to be when you're behind that microphone, right? So take that on. Like this is Ruben. When I grab that microphone, I'm freaking Superman. I'm taking on a whole. I'm a performer. I'm an entertainer, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna entertain. So I don't go home and I'm talking with my wife and You know, I don't talk to my kids. All right, kids, you know, come on, you know, sit down, let's have dinner. You know, I don't talk like that. You know, I just talk normal at home. But when I, you know,
Stage voice.
exactly, you have a stage voice, and that's something that you know you guys gotta. You find that, you know, you find that, you find yourself.
And it does come with time and
Yes.
stuff, you know, because I mean, you never know. You might be a deep like a ladies and gentlemen, you know what I mean? That might be your thing,
yeah.
you know, or it might just be like really energetic,
Exactly.
you know.
And you know, DJing or emceeing at a club is a lot different from emceeing like a wedding, right? Because when you're at a club, people are hype. You're gonna grab the top of the microphone like, oh, you're gonna do whatever you gotta do. Let's go, let's get crazy, or whatever you gotta do. But you know, if you're making an announcement about where the bathrooms are, you're not gonna grab the microphone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's up, man? The bathroom's right around the corner. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, you're not. Yeah, it's not how you're gonna make your announcements.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just knowing where you're at too, you know, and knowing how to effectively transition, you know, from that to that. Maybe you know in the middle of the dance floor. I mean, maybe during the wedding it might get that height where you get on the microphone, and you can pull something off like that. You know, for weddings, I usually don't get that hype that crazy,
Mhm.
and I usually don't cuss for weddings. But you know, I'll keep it. I'll say some things on the microphone, um, especially when there's going to be a huge genre and vibe jump,
Mhm.
and the bride wants to hear something, and it's like way out, you know, left field, right field, and you're over here on this lane. It's like, hey, this is a huge transition. Let me work the microphone, right? So I'll echo out, do something with this song to end it, and while I'm ending it, I'll get on the microphone and say something as, you know, if you got love for the bride and groom, let me hear you make some noise.
Yeah.
Like that, and then I'll put some effects, whatever, and then I'll drop the other song that's completely way out in left field to keep the energy there. Because they're at that point, you know, who doesn't love the bride and groom? They're all there for the
Right,
bride and
right,
groom.
yeah.
If you got some love for the bride and groom, let me hear you make some noise. That's the same thing as going to the club and saying, you know, let me hear, sexy ladies, let me hear you make some noise. And all the ladies are, they're gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are like some of like the safe things that
Yeah.
you know you just use those, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay to be cliche, you know, that's
Yeah.
it is what it is, you know. That's what the people are and stuff. You know, man, and you were talking about like because that's all like entertaining and stuff. Um, do you have any tips like about building a brand? Because you said like you know when you're DJing, you know you're DJ Big Root, you know it's
Yes.
you're not Ruben, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think that really kind of falls down into the social media stuff too, because as a DJ, you need to give off like those, you know, like party, not party vibes, but just happy vibes. You know, like you, if anything, we're in the business of nightlife, right? And what nightlife is entertainment, and that business is basically people not like once they're out of work and they're trying to go out and have fun and let loose and stuff. You know, so to me, a good DJ brand is always like uplifting, you know, high spirited and stuff like that. And I think you do that very well with your social media and stuff. You know, so you know, do you have any tips as to how to keep that kind of image and stuff like that up?
Well, 2020, I was really gonna step it up.
Uh-huh.
I had joined the DJ's Vault. Have you guys heard of the DJ's Vault?
Yeah.
They give there's a lot of good insight and whatnot. And I heard an interview, one of those exclusive interviews, like you just had to be there to hear this interview because it was only live, and then they'll get rid of it. And this particular interview was with, I guess I could say his name if I'm saying his name right, Jason Jeni. You guys heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Well, he's this huge, iconic. He has this big old mobile DJ company, right, in the East Coast, and
Oh yeah.
um,
I know.
right. So it was an interview, you know, with him, and they were talking about that about marketing and whatnot. And so the question was asked, so like, where's it at? Like, where should DJs right now? Where should they spend most of their time as far as social media? And he said, man, Instagram is where it's at. That's what he was saying as a mobile DJ company. He says, right now, from what I'm telling you, the success that we've been seeing, he's like, Instagram is where it's at. That's where you really need to train it up. They get a lot of referrals from there, a lot of people reaching out to them from there. And he had testified and said that he had done his first like $10,000 wedding, He did like
Whoa.
$10,000 for him to do. Of course, all that didn't go in his pocket.
Mhm.
It's a huge old production, right? All these lights, whatever, TVs, and all this good stuff. But to be able to put on a production like that is, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so I was actually going to step it up. I need to ask you that question, man, because I see what you're doing, and man, like I don't know how to say it, but like, dude, I'm proud of you. I see you putting in that work, and it's nonstop, man.
Thank you, man.
And to all the DJs out here, like this is a model right here to follow after. Just keep doing your thing, dude, because
Thank
it
you.
does it inspires me. And
Appreciate
and
that.
I'm not on that vein, I don't do that. I'm what you're doing. I'm more on the mobile aspect, more like as a wedding DJ, or I'll do the occasional bar and whatnot. And I have my personal reasons why. I'm, okay, I'll talk about relationships. Every relationship is different, and you pick and choose your battles when you're a married individual. And so I pick and choose my battle. So,
man.
but for what you're doing, man, I'm like, dude, that's it right there,
I
brother.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, what I've kind of just seen lately is that the 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 marketing world is kind of going towards it's not like it's not who has like the most followers, it's who has the most influence. Like who do people listen to, and like how do you get their attention and stuff. And it's kind of sad because I put out my music and stuff, and those posts get way less likes than the ones that I post doing either like a funny TikTok or stuff like that, that's kind of maybe a little more pop culture and stuff. So what I just started doing and kind of just realizing is like, you know what, I need to relate. Not everybody is a DJ, you know what I mean? So, but I need to relate to them in another way. And to me, it was just like, the TikTok stuff and those funny videos, talk. But what I try to do is try to still keep it around the DJ party vibe and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So if it's like maybe a video about like tequila or something like that, I've been doing like the TikTok stuff with like the different songs, like top five cumbia songs,
Yeah.
top five hip hop songs, or something like that.
Right.
So I think it's just like being on as many platforms as you can, but like influencing and stuff.
Because it has changed, right?
Yeah.
Like things have real dramatically changed 2020.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Things-
And so there's definitely the internet influence. I mean, it's beautiful. I think it was really cool though, because what I realized when quarantine came around was that you have a lot more reach on the internet, obviously. But a lot of DJs weren't streaming or anything
No,
like that.
right.
But what was cool is that when I started streaming was that I was realizing that a lot of people follow me, but not all of them really come out to shows or anything like that. So they weren't really experiencing the like live aspect or the DJ aspect of what I do. So since now they were able to be at home on the phone and catch you like that, I was seeing that a lot of people were able to indulge in that and like either appreciate it and
That's great.
and check it out. So I think the internet and the social media stuff, even though it is kind of sad because it kind of takes away from our art form and our craftsmanship of, and all the time we spend in the studio trying to make the music, it's still awesome because it's gonna put you in front of more people. So I think that's what I'm just trying to like hone in on. Okay, like how can I give people more value so that I can expand, because to me, it's you gotta also care about the shareability and stuff too. Um, so I think like something that we're getting into with famous DJ agency is doing like a videos of tips either for DJs or for
That's
people
cool.
planning parties and stuff, because you just want to give your audience as much value as you can, and I think collaborating is awesome too. You know what I mean? Because say you collaborate with an event planner and they say, hey, we're featuring DJ Big Roo this week, awesome wedding DJ, blah blah blah, anything like that. Any of their following is going to check you out. You know what I mean? And then and you can do the same, vice versa. We're all in the same industry anyway.
Exactly.
Trying to make it,
Yes.
or just trying to make a living. So yeah, I think I was just I'm trying to add as much value to my audience. So, and if that's TikToks or something like that, if that makes them smile, laugh for a bit, cool. Then that's good. Then that's gonna register into their mind like Don Dirty made me laugh today.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind of just the saying of like you need to stay in front of people's face. It's like drawing a blank on it, but
well, out of sight.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's it. There it is. Yeah, that's exactly
you're
what,
always
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's funny because it happens with music too. Sometimes it's like, oh shoot, I forgot I had you'll find a track. Sometimes you're looking through your playlist, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
because you hadn't seen it, you kind of forgot about it
Because it's not in the crates, right? Because you're
right.
usually in the crates.
Yes.
Exactly. Man. Yeah. Exactly. 100%, man. Yeah, but no, I've been seeing you doing like the videos and stuff like that with you emceeing, and I think that's awesome because it showcases what you can do and stuff. I think videos kind of the way to go too.
Absolutely.
Um.
And you also, your the people that want to hire you,
Mhm.
they want to see you perform. Um, there's been plenty of times where um, potential people that were having a birthday, they want to hire you. Hey man, you have anything you can send my way? I'd like to see you perform or hear a mix or something. So people definitely are looking for content, especially when they want to invest, they want to pay money for you to perform. They want to see what they're paying for.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Something I think you can do too, because I know you're really into like the tech stuff. I know you're like always up to date and stuff with equipment and stuff like that. You should do like reviews for
Yeah,
DJs. And
I,
stuff,
I
yeah.
thought about that. I thought about that. There's one that I actually follow a lot. He's local. It's is it Terry Cleveland?
Yeah.
Cleveland
Mm.
Terry. He
Okay,
does.
yeah, that's right. I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I watch his
He
stuff
does.
too.
He does a lot of reviews and
Hmm.
stuff. And yeah, I thought about doing that. But here's the thing: is that it is a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to do YouTube, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Same thing as being a producer. It's very taxing.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but it's being a producer is very taxing, and it takes a lot. It really, really draws from you. I mean, because you're literally pouring yourself in. Some things flow and it comes easy, boom, instant banger. But it doesn't happen like that all the time.
Mhm.
Sometimes you gotta labor with it. You labor with it, and it takes a lot. And the same
Mhm.
thing comes with producing. It gets easier as time goes on, and you get faster
Hmm.
as time goes on. But it's more a time factor for me.
Yeah, well, because with the editing, I think that's kind of where
Yeah, it's a
where it
lot.
really.
It takes a lot of time.
I feel that, man. No, yeah, man. But as far as so you're looking into the S11 and stuff.
Yes,
And
I'm
you have
looking.
a 72 for
Yes,
sale.
yes, I have a 72 for sale.
That's
I'm going
cool,
after
man.
the S11.
S11, man. Yeah, I like I said, I wasn't really a fan of the screen on the mixer. I think it's kind of like unnecessary, but I see the efficiency that it can come with. Like if you all you gotta do is take your USB stick, and plug it right in.
Well, what's cool about that too is you could customize your. Well, same thing with 72. You get in that screen and you customize your filters, the resonance levels. You could
Oh,
customize
really?
your EQs. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of stuff that you could really customize. So everything that comes out, the sound that comes out of your 72 could completely be your custom stuff.
I see.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm sure the S11.
I never really thought of it like that. You're like, oh, like let me make it my own sound. I
Okay, so
guess.
I like that. That comes from being a musician and playing with the motif.
Uh-huh.
I would always, some of them would sound horrible, but I would always create my own like roads, my
Okay.
own
Yeah.
that had different types of panning. And some people are like, that sounds horrible.
Uh-huh.
So I would scratch that. But
Yeah.
so I was always into being creative, making my own sound.
That's dope.
And
Yeah. That's
yeah.
cool, man. Yeah, I want to get an S11 too. I've been meaning to get another S9, but every year I'm like, well, I'm gonna hold off, and I've been holding off for 2 years now, and finally they announced a new one, so I'm excited, man. I'm also gonna look into the phase stuff. How are you with those? Are
I
you
love the
completely
phase.
happy.
I'm completely happy
Yeah?
with the phase. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I need what I do need to do is actually constantly calibrate them though.
Oh,
I have
okay.
to calibrate them because you have both pitch faders at 0,
Mhm.
and sometimes they'll be a little bit off.
Hmm.
So that'll mess up. That will mess with your instant doubles, and if you're gonna do some juggling and stuff and going back and forth with the fader, it can mess up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, with the phase. So that's probably the only thing. But I'm not a turntablist like
Mhm.
that. So I'm not
Okay.
I'm not going in there going like this, turn performance.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome, man. Well, I mean, are there any other tips you would give maybe to a young DJ? Maybe top three things you would say to keep in mind.
Yes, in that it's not just. I mean, it's the same thing that we've been talking about all day. Is that it's not just about DJing nowadays.
Mhm.
It's like you to make yourself really stand out to get out there. Yes, you got to be a solid DJ, absolutely solid DJ, but also produce music, make your own custom edits, right? You hear that all over. Everyone's saying it's not just about DJing anymore. It's changed, and is doing that, and then also being an MC to be able to entertain on the microphone as well as entertain with your turntables. So those are main things, and everything, all of those things, right? I wrote down some notes. I'm not going to get there because I know we're short on time, but everything what you need to be successful at anything you do is you need to have focus, right? You need to have focus. The old Latin word for the word focus comes from the word that means fireplace. And the concept of that is that the word focus comes from the ability, I guess, to grab like rays of light from the sun and this energy around it, right? And then the focus is where all of those elements meet, right? At a place of singularity. So the concept is this, okay? I'm sure we've all grabbed like a magnifying glass and went outside and went to go set something on fire with the magnifying glass, right? You see an ant right there, you could set an ant on fire with the rays of the sun through that lens, right? It's concentrated, it shoots out, and it's so hot that it creates fire. Old Latin word for focus, fireplace. So here's the thing, your focus, you could set fires anywhere in anything you do. If you have that focus, you become that magnifying glass where you take all the elements that are around you, chaos, whatever it may be, take rays of light, everything around you to be able to get it in here. This is your magnifying glass, and to use that laser focus in the one direction, right? You could set wildfires in your life, man. Set it off with the turntable, boom, boom, boom. Set it off on the microphone, right? You set it off with business, whatever it may be. So the main thing, man, is focus. Think of fire, fireplace, magnifying glass. Let me set this fire.
100%, man. And that's the thing with DJing, man. There's so many distractions.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are gonna come up. Like partying, drugs, girls, and stuff, and all that stuff. Or guys for girl DJs.
Yeah,
not anything, but
right.
But yeah, it's definitely keeping focus, man. Like what you said, just don't get distracted, and keep the eyes on the prize. You know what I mean? And don't give up too. Because there's gonna be a lot of time where you feel like, man, I've been doing this for so long, like, but you just gotta keep going, bro.
That's right.
Guys, let's give a big thank you to DJ Big Roo, Famous DJ Academy. Make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe, and join the school. But thank you guys very much. Big Roo, thank you, bro.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you guys.